He also became the first player in NFL history with 90% completion percentage, 250 pass yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown in one game. I mean, just unbelievable. You want to talk dual threat quarterback? That's a dual threat quarterback. Pop, what's going on, man?
Son, how are you?
Man, they said it couldn't be done. And what did Dom and Pop say? We said, why not us? What a night. What a game.
We do it a little different around here. We like to get it to marinate for a day.
Yeah.
Coming at you Wednesday morning with this react to the fantastic win versus the Bengals on Monday Night Football. Who would have thought? 38-33 Commanders. Amazing victory.
Tell you what, if you guys want...
The boys are buzzing.
If you guys want faster video turnaround, there is no better way. The control is in your hands. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, send us to your friends, get these views up. The boys would love nothing more than to be able to bring you guys the content faster, but it can't happen without you guys. So please send it our way. Man, Pop, what a night. I mean, what a game. Like, just go over a couple small things real fast. I mean, no punts or turnovers by either team, so just pure offense all night. First time since 1940. It was the first time in the Super Bowl era that a team, being the Commanders, has not had 0 punts or a turnover, or has had 0 punts and no turnovers in 2 games. So that's crazy. Defense still struggling, but we're probably not going to talk too much about that in this reaction, to be honest with you, because the headline, I think I've already went 1 minute and 42 long without saying his name, Jayden Daniels. Oh my God. Incredible. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
No, I was really like, I think a few times we referenced the fact, are we dreaming? Because it was just such a great performance. But I don't think it was only Jayden Daniels. I mean, I do think he got a lot of help. I think that offensive line played extremely well. I think his weapons played well. But yeah, you could continue to see the progression with Jayden, you know.
Yeah.
What blows me away more than anything is that clearly, you know, we went into the game. What was our keys? Run the damn ball. That was our headline key. And you clearly, as a good coach team would do, the Bengals took away the run, right? And we were still able to execute. And he was able to start to get the ball downfield. Where's their weakness? More so in the pass game, being on defense for the Bengals. And he was able to get the ball downfield, get the ball to the receivers, all the things that we've been saying we need to do better at, he was doing. And, yeah, it was an incredible performance. And, you know, as Redskins / Commanders fans, you know, we're so snake bit that there's part of me that wants to say, let's stay medium. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. It's like get overly excited, but yeah, it's amazing. You know, it was an amazing game. I'm sure if we dig deep, we can think of other better games offensively. But I can't come up with one. My memory is not always the best, but that was one of the funnest games to watch. And I think one of the things I loved about it was when we had to go for that 4th down, was it 4th and 3, 4th and 4, something like that?
4th and 4, yeah.
To score that last touchdown, we were able to put the game away. And I know you were saying, hey, you know, big Polinas by Dan Quinn to make that call, but he had to, because our defense couldn't get a stop. And I'm thinking to myself, if we give them the ball back, you know, that's it. And I guess we could have kicked the field goal and created some separation there, but what a bold play and what a great play. And
yeah,
I love the fact that we put that distance in front of us and made it pretty much, other than a miraculous comeback, you know, we locked the game up in that sequence, and they just kept the foot on the gas the entire game. And you got to love that.
And you're
keep attacking.
You're up 5 at that point, right? So even if you kick a field goal, you go up 8. That's only it's still a 1-score game. So I love the mindset of Quinn there. We kind of criticized him for being pretty conservative week 1. I love the mindset, what you're saying, to go for it. And I love what led up to that, man. I mean, it was, I think it was 2nd and 21 at one point. It was a false start, and then Jayden got sacked, and you hate to see him take a sack there, but at a certain point, you've got an all-pro right end on the other side of the field than Trey Hendrickson. It's like, dude, he's going to make a play at some point. That's what these guys get paid to do. That's why they're superstars. I think overall, the offense did a really good job of containing him, the offensive line. We'll get to that later in our award segment. But, man, what I saw from Daniels last night was unlike anything I've ever seen in my lifetime in burgundy and gold. And I struggle to, I mean, you don't need me to say it. You can look at any statistic that will justify it last night. I mean, don't look as far as his 91.7, 91.3 completion percentage. I mean, he threw more touchdowns than he did incompletions. Or he had the same number of touchdowns as he did incompletions. Yeah. That's I mean, he put up college numbers last night against.
Well, he's running a college offense, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
He put up college numbers against a team that a lot of guys had Super Bowl contenders. I mean, a team that should have won against the Kansas City Chiefs last week if it weren't for a PI call that shouldn't have happened, but did happen. It was just incredible. I mean, he set the NFL rookie record for completion percentage last night. He also became the first player in NFL history with 90% completion percentage, 250 pass yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown in one game. I mean, just unbelievable. You want to talk dual threat quarterback? That's a dual threat quarterback right there. His ability to play from the pocket, his ability to process, he's getting the ball out at lightning fast speeds. I mean, ball's coming out pretty much as soon as he hits his back foot. And Dan Orlovsky did a great breakdown of the film. Aaron Rodgers said he loved what he saw from Jayden, and in particular loved what he saw as it pertains to Jayden working in the pocket. So you know what? All of you dorks on Twitter who still want to, parade around. There's one guy in particular who's still saying Daniels isn't doing all that much. They're not asking him to do a lot. And that's because he had Jayden Daniels as his QB6 in his draft rankings. I checked the receipts. All of you dorks parading that around, shove it. Put it where the sun don't shine. I don't care about y'all, because you know what? If Dan Orlovsky and Aaron Rodgers, 2 guys who played professional football, Aaron Rodgers played it at the highest level, one of the highest levels we've ever seen in the history of this game. If they think he's doing enough from the pocket, you who probably didn't start on your high school football team at quarterback, I don't care what you have to say. How about that? Jayden Daniels.
Just take a look. Just look at the scoreboard. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you're on Twitter saying stupid stuff like that, you're ignorant. Just look at the scoreboard. Look.
Hey, I get it.
If it wasn't for the performance,
the month is coming up. You need that interaction. Rent's due. I get it. But go get your interactions from somewhere else.
I mean, if it wasn't for the performance that Jayden Daniels put up, we'd be talking about Joe Burrow. I mean, that was an amazing performance by Joe Burrow. I mean, he was 29 for 38. He put up 324 yards. I mean, Jamar Chase with 2 touchdowns. Please, can we not single cover elite receivers like that?
Yeah,
but let's never do that again. Look, let's keep the vibes positive. No hate on the Dom Pop show, because
that's
it's just clear that it's clear that we got a special one there. Speaking of going 8 minutes and 45 seconds without mentioning the name Cliff Kingsbury. I think it was more than just Jayden, because I think Jayden, yes, he is a pivotal piece. He is a budding superstar. There's no question about it. He's starting to put himself in a conversation now. It's just 3 games, and I wouldn't put him there yet, but he's starting to put himself in the conversations of the top quarterbacks in the league, much less the top rookie guys, right? He's incredible. But Cliff is calling, and I said it last week, and I went to bat for him. I think he is calling brilliant games, and I think that the person that to be unnamed, I think the point is Cliff has brilliantly used that building block process with Jayden. He's tried to keep things simple in spots, but you can clearly see that learning curve is fast and it's progressing at a very quick pace. And you're seeing the ball get downfield. And Jayden's still missing some things here and there. But I think the way he utilized the run game, going with 2 backs in the beginning of that game, more than we've done all season long. Freeing up Eckler, finally uncorking Terry McLaurin. And by the way, speaking of disrespect, can we put some respect on that man's name? If you can't see that that's an elite wide receiver, if you can't see he's an elite wide receiver, you're blind. He was torching their defenders, and you can't cover the kid one-on-one. Where he ranks, in the top 10 or 15 or whatever the number is, fine. He's our guy. And I love 100%. Terry McLaurin. He's our guy. And I wouldn't want to replace him with anyone else. Yeah, I said it. And he just was phenomenal in his ability to get open. He was even missed a couple of times. And what a great leader. And I love there's a little, Instagram clip or film clip where he says, if I'm one-on-one, throw me the ball.
Yep.
And that's the thing. The way he tracks that ball, those 2 long balls were not easy catches. There was a stat about, and I wish I could remember the percentage, but the degree of difficulty on that touchdown catch that Terry McLaurin made was the highest degree of difficulty catch made all season so far. And it's only completed like 15, 20% of the time.
It was lower. It's 10.7% per.
There you go. There you go. Thank you.
Real sicko hours over here.
But when you see Terry underneath that ball, you go, he's going to catch it.
I knew it.
You're confident he's going to pull it in. And how many receivers can you say that about?
As soon as it went up.
We saw an elite guy on the other side of the field.
Yeah.
Chase is ridiculous.
As good as it gets.
Right. So I'm not comparing there, but this kid's pretty good too.
Yep. And, JP said it earlier today. I'm sure you find this hard to believe. I've just been binging as much Commanders content as I barely slept last night.
What'd you call it? The best day of your life?
As a Commanders fan, yeah, this is the best day of my Commanders fandom in my life today. And JP said in regards to Terry and Jayden, there's no putting that genie back in the bottle. You saw what happened last night.
Right.
There's no undoing that. There's no falling backwards. If you're Jayden, you're going, uh-oh, I got my guy. And he proved it last night. He came up in 2 incredibly clutch situations. The first pass to Cam Taylor-Britt, to him over Cam Taylor-Britt, what a shot of adrenaline that was. It was like, hey, we're here too. All right, you can throw your deep ball to Jamar Chase. We're here too, and you all better be ready because this offense is going to come for you as well. You get that, and then after that 3rd and 7 touchdown pass, and you mentioned, Pop, you just knew he was going to catch it, and you couldn't see on the broadcast who was lined up there, and there was so much chaos before the play started. McCaffrey didn't know where he was supposed to be. Aikman said there were only 10 men on the field, which was not correct. There were 11 guys on the field there. You saw that later, but it was a little bit of chaos, right? Going crazy. And no disrespect to Aikman. I actually thought Aikman called
He does a pretty good job.
I thought Aikman
he annoys me at times, but he does a pretty good job.
And all class from him at the end of the game, talking about what this fan base has been through and how excited he was for us to have Jayden. Got to give respect where it's due there. Class from Troy. But back to the point, that ball goes up, and I was just waiting to see, is that Terry on the other end of it? And I stood up as soon as I saw the ball go up. And I said, before the ball had reached its apex, once I saw it was 17 on the other end, I said, he's got him. I said, that's ball game. Well, I said it before he caught the ball.
Explain to me how that's not elite.
Incredible. He's one of the.
It is. The thing about it is, like, you look at guys that are faster, there are guys that are this, or guys are that. contested catches or making those kinds of difficult catches. I mean, he's as good as it gets.
Yeah, he's as good as we've seen.
And so, and I love your analogy about they've uncorked it, because that's why you can't overreact in week one, especially with a new team and a new offense and so many changes in personnel. Because now, as an example of that, Jayden and Terry are starting to vibe. They're starting to understand, Jayden's got to trust Terry a little more. And he's going to do it now because he knows, like you said, the genie's out of the bottle. That's a great quote. And super exciting. I mean, I think, look, I'm going to end my comments in this section here, right? This is just the reason that we're here doing this podcast. And I know that, we're building this thing, we're trying to grow it, but it's just, it's just Dominic and I really have a lot of fun doing this together. But this is meaningful for us, right? I mean, it's family driven. We've been Redskins / Commanders fans since I was born, quite frankly. It started with my older brother, right? And then the family just adopted it. And then I passed it on to Dominic. And when you sit there and you watch a game and you enjoy a game like that, I was playing at a charity golf thing today, and there were a lot of Commanders fans there. It was in PG County. And you could just see the joy it brings people. And it's meaningful when you can get to see your team. And, that the shot of, Adam Peters and the owner in the box, and you just see the confidence. And what we have now is hope. That's what's more. But maybe we still go 8-9 this year, and we still struggle in spots, and we're on this pod complaining about other things. But you can clearly see the hope in Jayden Daniels, and the hope in the direction of this franchise, what Dan Quinn brings, what Kingsbury brings. Hopefully, at some point, we'll start to see that defense gel and improve under Joe Witt Jr. There's just so much hope in what we're seeing, and that's amazing. And we're going to the Ravens game in a couple of weeks. Dom and I will be there with a bunch of folks. I thought there was no hope of us competing in that game, and maybe they still will blow us off the
lease
field.
On life.
Maybe they will blow us off the field, but at this point, that confidence level that you have in this team is so much higher, and it's hope. It's that hope, and it means a lot.
All of a sudden, you look at that schedule. Cardinals, Browns, Ravens, and I think it's the Cowboys after. All of a sudden, you look down that stretch of games, and it's just a new sense of confidence in, like, hey, if 5 can do that, there's not a game you can't win. That's the bottom line. If your quarterback is playing like that, you're not going to lose a lot of games putting up 38 points on offense. You're not going to lose a lot of games when the only time your drives end without a score is when you're taking a knee before the half, or when you've clutched it out at the end of the game. This is 2 straight games where every single drive has ended with a score or a kneel down because we already won. This is 2 straight games. That is incredible. And that is, look, we're going to see Tressway next week. We're going to see Tressway a few times this season.
Maybe.
They're gonna punt the ball. It's going to happen. Okay? And we're not going to come on here. Jayden's going to throw a pick at some point. It's going to happen. And we're not going to come on here and ring all the alarm bells. But that's not a fluke, man. That is a sign of something that is working, and is working well. And I think it is just, I was talking to my friend earlier today, my Titans insider, close friend of mine, works for the Titans, and he's talking about Will Levis. And it is just, I was telling him, I said, man, I think to a degree, there is just so much luck involved in the quarterback, the OC, the front office, and the head coach all lining up and finding each other at the right time. And I think that is more than Jayden Daniels by himself, more than Cliff Kingsbury by himself, more than Adam Peters by himself, more than Dan Quinn by himself, who, I mean, guys, what a job Dan Quinn has done with this team 3 weeks in. He's not going to get enough credit. He deserves all the credit in the world. Is the fact that these guys together so far are much greater than the sum of their parts. Much greater than the sum of their parts. And we are seeing something unfold in front of us that I think has the potential to be incredibly special.
there are, I lied. I got one more thing. There are great quarterbacks in this league. Joe Burrow is a great quarterback.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback. Look at what Josh Allen is doing, right?
Best in the league right
Pat
now.
Mahomes. I mean, it goes on and on. The kid in Houston who looks,
CJ Stroud
is a big upcoming CJ Stroud. But Jayden Daniels is one of one. He's not comparable to anyone else. What he brings as a skill set point of view is very, very different. And it's not to say he's better than any of those guys, because he's clearly not at this stage of his career. But I said it in the preseason. I said this in the preseason. He's one of one. And he's our guy, right? He's our guy. And so, and I just love, he's so humble about it. You can tell that after the game, when ESPN interviewed him right after the game, I got the vibe. What I read between the lines is, whoa. Don't shower me with all this praise just yet.
Yeah.
And how many people in that position would just be like, yeah, give it all to me. I'm it. It's me. And he was deferring to his teammates.
To feel that way.
He wasn't promoting his brand. He was just going, I'm going to be doing this for a long time. I got a lot of work to do. I got things that can get better. He even said it. We're going to hit some rough spots at times too.
Yeah.
And so that maturity level and that calm that he brings, but also, and my wife was talking about it earlier today. I mean, that's the impact that this game had. And she said, what really impressed me was how he took charge.
Yeah.
He was calm. He's calm, but he's trying to get the play in. Come on, let's go. He's pushing, he's competing, but yet followed to that, he's on the sidelines with a huge smile, right?
Yeah.
Like lighten up the stadium, lighten up the room for his teammates. So a lot to be excited about there. We could go on and on and on.
The bottom line is it's just, he played 5 years of college ball. This guy played for LSU. He took LSU into Auburn. He took LSU into Alabama. That prepares you for that atmosphere. And doing that when you're having the type of year he had at LSU, and I think personally, this is totally my creation. I think last night was an opportunity for Jayden Daniels to say, hey, everybody anointed Burrow as the second coming when he was at LSU and everything that he did. And I had just as good of a year, and I didn't get half the hype because I was the guy that came after Burrow. I'm here, and I'm him too. I think he proved that last night.
But you said it beautifully. It's not just Jayden, right? It's the all those things lining up together, and it's the offensive line outplaying anything that we could have expected. It's the fact that we've got better weapons.
Yeah,
we suddenly seem to have a receiver core, which is incredible. So I think he's getting a lot of help and a lot of support. We can't forget that.
Where is everybody who thought the house was on fire when we traded Jahan Dotson a couple weeks ago? Trust in the damn process. Trust the process.
Awards.
These people know more than we do. I know we're not used to having adults in the room, but we've got the best adults in the room you could possibly want right now. Trust. Believe. Let's get into the awards, Pop. I'm fired up. Man.
Let's hope we could keep this momentum going. That's all.
I didn't sleep last night. I was up every 90 minutes. I was up.
I think a lot of fans had that experience last night.
That's like Christmas, but better. Sauce Award, Jayden Daniels. Come on. Let's not even. You guys knew it the second you clicked on.
Should we rename it the Jayden Daniels Award?
I'm seriously we might have to. We'll check in. We might have to add another Sauce Award recipient, but I mean, just everybody hold the hand of the person next to you. Let's read through these stats real quick, and then let's move on. Talk about the rest of the guys. Jayden Daniels, 21 for 23, 254 yards and 2 touchdowns passing, 12 for 39 rushes with 1 touchdown. This is Jayden Daniels' second Sauce Award of the season. The Washington Commanders are 2-1. Got to be the Rookie of the Week. Guys, unbelievable.
Yep.
I'm speechless. I mean, I've worked myself to the brink of tears multiple points between the end of last night and today over this. This is just unbelievable. Helmet stickers.
Boy needs help.
Oh, sicko. Real sicko. Helmet
it's my
stickers.
Creation.
Yeah. You look at what you've done. Helmet stickers, 4 catches, 100 yards, 1 touchdown, none other than number 17, Terry McLaurin. I was almost going to make a case for a co-sauce here. I'd be happy to do it spontaneously if Papa's down. Just an incredible performance from McLaurin. He was just there when you needed him. Every single one of those catches was a huge impact on the game. He had the 2 deep shots, and then the 2 catches that he had earlier in the game that weren't the deep shots were such key moments to just, and you saw the beginning of Jayden with that like Heineke, like find 17 when things aren't going right, find 17. That is what we need. Yeah, exactly. Austin Eckler, 3 for 35 rushing, 1 touchdown, 2 catches for 22 yards, and a 62-yard kick return to start the second half. He was on his way to an absolutely monster game before he got the concussion. Obviously, concussions are scary. Really hope everything's okay with Eckler. Other side of that is nowadays people are extremely cautious with that, so you really hope it's not too severe, anything too serious. He was, walking off under his own power, seemed to be in okay shape last night, so we don't know exactly. Pop has some Eckler news?
Well, yeah, I do have a little bit. It came from the press conference with Dan Quinn today where Austin Eckler, the rest of the team actually, which I think is a brilliant move and we'll get into in the pregame pod, the rest of the team flew out to Arizona straight from Cincinnati. Eckler actually went back to Virginia. So I think it's looking pretty dicey in terms of him being available because he's got to start the whole concussion protocol. I guess he had a lacerated ear as well. So I'd say it's looking pretty dicey for him to being able to turn that around that quick. But hopefully he's good for the rest of the year. I'd say, the concussions are scary, but at least, hopefully it's not too serious. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, you hope it's not too serious. They're obviously going to do what they need to do in order to get protocol cleared and go through everything that needs to be gone through. If he's got to miss a couple weeks, he's got to miss a couple weeks. I think most of the time, especially on these short weeks, I'd be surprised to see Eckler on Sunday. As from what we know
he's
today.
Such a weapon, man.
Oh my gosh.
We're seeing prime Austin Eckler, and a couple of people have made this point. The way they're using him is brilliant.
Yeah.
You got your workhorse, and he's a compliment to that, and Brian Robinson Jr. and just what you're trying to avoid is exactly what happened. Him taking that pounding, but he's just such a weapon.
Well, it reminds me of almost in Detroit, it reminds me of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, where it's like they both can do everything, but Eckler is just special as an elusive kind of speed back pass catcher, and Montgomery being Brian Robinson is just incredible as a power runner. I mean, just the kind of guy that you run a 12-play drive and 8 of it is just inside zone to Brian Robinson and it's a touchdown. That's your guy there. When it's overtime and you want to run the clock out or you want to win the game, you give Montgomery 12 carries. It's the same thing with Robinson.
We've said it before with Eckler, he always just seems to find a way to get those extra yards. And he's doing it in the kick return game. It'll be interesting to see if they put him back there again. Not that he didn't get hurt on the kick return, but speedy recovery for Austin for sure. Can't wait to see him back out there.
And the last one, we're going to throw Brandon Coleman. I'd say honorable mention to the rest of the offensive line. I thought the offensive line played really well last night. I think the interior in particular, Allegretti had a great game as well. Falling on that fumble late, great save by him. That could have been a disaster. But Brandon Coleman played 29 snaps last night at a premier position against a premier player. He did give up that 1 sack. He got beat to the inside by Trey Hendrickson. It's going to happen. But for the rest of the night, he did a really good job of containing him, and I think he played very well.
This is very crazy to say, for lack of a better word. But I get Trent Williams vibes when I see him just because of the athleticism that he brings to the position. That was what was Trent's, special sauce, was his athleticism, right?
Yes, footwork.
And his athleticism, he's not, as developed as Trent is. He's nowhere near as good as Trent is. But when you watch him play and you watch the tape, you see that takedown he had against Hendrickson on the Noah Brown throw.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that could really be a heck of a find. And you usually don't love offensive line rotation, but that rotation seems to be working pretty well.
I'm not sure how much longer it's going to go. I think it's the same kind of plan as the Jayden Daniels thing, where they're just kind of trying to give Coleman enough that he can manage, but without, just throwing him in the deep end and setting him on fire. I think next week, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays every snap at left tackle, or if not next week, in a couple weeks, it'll be that way. I think he's clearly won the job. I think if he wasn't hurt for most of the preseason, he may have just started there.
Hey, it came to me, Cornelius Lucas.
There you go.
People, you got to excuse me. I'm not good with names to begin with, and I'm running on very little sleep. So
I've had a wild weekend.
We're in trouble. Yeah, it's been. I had a weekend that was like not. I didn't, imbibe that much, but the lack of sleep over the last 4 or 5 days is not something that this old man is used to.
No, but
so we got to calm it down. We got to calm it down.
Yeah. But man, the rest of the offensive line I thought played really well. I think we're starting to see a real identity form around this team. And I think you saw it like with the McNichols pass block. That's a clip that's been going around, right? Where he basically just tackled dude on that touchdown pass to Terry. You just see everybody seems to be bought into this identity of arriving fast and violently, and we're seeing it. I thought Frankie Louvu had a hell of a game. Jeremy Chin got his name called a couple times. I was on here dogging him on the pregame pod. He must be a faithful listener. So well done, Jeremy. Keep it up. I thought overall the defense was awful, but the bend don't break style is going to be the path to victories this year. I think that's going to be what have to happen. I think every drive that ends in 3, you consider a success with this defensive unit. And if we can score the way we've been scoring, that's going to be good enough. So, and Austin Seibert hit that key field goal when we needed it, right? That would have been a real momentum swing when
he's been solid.
Kickouts of the week. You want to hit it, Pop?
Kickouts of the game. Also
Kickouts of the game. Excuse me.
So it's the obvious one, right? Bengals cornerback Cam Taylor-Britt on Jayden Daniels. They don't make him do a lot. They keep it really simple for him. Nice college offense. And after the game, they confronted him about that, and he doubled down. Said they wouldn't take it back. That is true, which is kind of ridiculous. And his coach actually called him out.
Yep.
And said, hey, we don't need people saying things like that. And obviously they proved differently. So pretty ridiculous. He got torched a couple of times. I think it's just a lesson for the kids out there. Watch what you say.
Better play like Darrelle Revis if you're going to talk like Darrelle Revis. And Cam Taylor-Britt certainly did not play like Darrelle Revis.
It was a really, really kind of dumb thing to say. Why give another team bulletin board material? And it was funny. There was an interview, I don't know if you saw it, with Terry McLaurin. And at first he's like, it was no big deal. And then he says, yeah, well, we did hear from Dan Quinn about it. And I'm pretty sure Cliff Kingsbury wasn't too happy about those comments. So, and Cliff Kingsbury got asked directly about it in his presser before the game. So pretty dumb stuff. Kickouts. You gotta think before you speak, young man. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah, you got to.
Got humbled.
Definitely got humbled. Definitely got humbled. I don't care if it's a college offense. It seems to work pretty well in the pros, right?
Scoreboard, like we said earlier. Whoever that dingus was that was saying, they're not asking Jayden to do too much. I don't know. Anyway, it's just so dumb.
What more do you want? You want him to make a pizza on the field while he throws a touchdown pass? What more do you want the guy to do?
Yeah. Couldn't be more impressive. Haters are going to hate.
Yeah. Guys, what a fantastic game that was. Special night. We're celebrating it here on Tuesday. You guys are going to hear from us celebrate it on Wednesday, and you'll hear from us later this week with that pregame pod. You guys are getting a special 3-pod week. Savor it. Enjoy it. We're going to bring to you the Bada Bets as well on that next podcast. I know it's a lot of your guys' favorite segment. So Bada Bets coming down the pike and Arizona pregame. And by the time we get to that Arizona pregame pod, the boys are on Scottsdale, right? We're going to be talking about what can we do better,
That's right.
What went wrong. But guys, man, we've earned this. Enjoy it, celebrate it, and we will see you all later this week and see you, of course, on Sunday in Arizona. Without further ado, I've been Dom.
This is Pop.
Thanks for another great week, everybody, and hail to the Commander.
Hail.